What if someone told you that $12 billion is the price of high fructose corn syrup? Now, what if I told you that this is just one among several products that have ruined millions of lives, caused hundreds of thousands of deaths every year, and still today, it's something that many Americans cannot live without? No, this isn't about drugs or weapons. It's about soda. That's right, soda, a drink that has become the cause of serious health issues for millions of Americans. The U.S. consumes a ridiculous amount of soda. In fact, the country drinks more soda than any other country. On average, each American drinks around 43 gallons of soda per year. That is equal to drinking a can of soda every day for an entire year. And guess what? It's not just adults who are doing this. Children are also consuming a large amount of soda, with an average of 33 gallons per child each year. So how is soda causing all these problems? Let's find out in today's episode of Fake News. Welcome back. Before we begin, please make sure that you leave a like and subscribe so that you won't miss any new episodes. Also, please be aware that some parts of this video may be offensive or disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. High fructose corn syrup. This chemical was first used as a sweetener in processed foods and soft drinks in the 1970s. Since then, its use has skyrocketed due to it being cheap and having a longer shelf life than sugar, while high fructose corn syrup is considered safe by the FDA. Recent studies have shown that it can cause liver damage, increase the risk of diabetes and heart disease, and even lead to cancer. The worst part is that this chemical is present in almost all sodas sold in the United States. And since the average American consumes 3 sodas a day, it's easy to see how all of these health issues have become so widespread. But high fructose corn syrup is just one ingredient that makes soda dangerous. Another major component of soda that has been linked to serious health issues is caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant that is found naturally in coffee beans, tea leaves, and cocoa beans. However, when it is consumed in large amounts, it can cause anxiety, insomnia, tremors, muscle breakdown, and even death. In fact, according to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the maximum amount of caffeine that should be consumed by an adult in a day is 400 milligrams. But let's take a look at the caffeine content of some popular sodas. Coca-Cola and Pepsi, two of the most popular sodas in the world, both contain 34 milligrams of caffeine per ounce. That means that a 12-ounce can of either of these sodas contains over 400 milligrams of caffeine. And that's just for one can. Most people don't drink just one soda though. In fact, the average American drinks 3 sodas a day. That means that the average American is taking in over 1,000 milligrams of caffeine every single day. But this doesn't even begin to include the caffeine found in energy drinks and other sources such as coffee. So now that we know what's in soda and why it's bad for us, let's talk about how much money this industry is making. It might surprise you to learn that the global carbonated soft drink market was valued at nearly $98 billion in 2020, and it is projected to reach $136 billion by 2027. That's a lot of money. And it's even more when you consider that the average profit margin for a soda company is around 17%. That means that the soda industry is making billions of dollars every single year. So what does this mean for the future of soda? Well, it's tough to say. On one hand, people are becoming more health conscious and many are cutting back on their soda consumption. On the other hand, soda companies are constantly innovating and coming up with new flavors and marketing campaigns to get people to buy their products. Only time will tell what the future holds for soda. But what do you think? Should people drink less soda? If so, how can we do that? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As we mentioned earlier, high fructose corn syrup is one of the main ingredients that makes soda so dangerous. But what exactly is high fructose corn syrup and where does it come from? To answer this question, we need to take a look at the corn industry. The United States is the world's largest producer of corn with over 13 billion bushels produced each year. However, not all corn is created equal. There are 2 main types of corn, dent corn and sweet corn. Dent corn is the type of corn that is used to make animal feed and ethanol. Sweet corn is the type of corn that is used to make things like corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is made from the same basic ingredients as regular corn syrup, but it undergoes an additional process that converts some of the glucose molecules into fructose molecules. This results in a sweetener that is nearly identical to table sugar in terms of its sweetness. But where does this high fructose corn syrup come from? Well, it comes from the corn. Specifically, it comes from the starch found in the endosperm of the corn kernel. When corn is processed into corn syrup, the starch is broken down into smaller molecules called glucose. Glucose is a type of sugar that is found in many foods, including fruits, vegetables, and grains. However, high fructose corn syrup is different from regular corn syrup because it contains a higher concentration of fructose. Fructose is another type of sugar that is found in fruits and vegetables. However, fructose is metabolized differently than glucose and has been linked to a number of health problems, including obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Despite these concerns, high fructose corn syrup remains a popular sweetener for soda companies. In fact, it is estimated that over 60 billion pounds of high fructose corn syrup are consumed in the United States each year. So what is it about high fructose corn syrup that makes it so appealing to soda companies? Well, for one, it is much cheaper than other sweeteners like sugar and honey. Additionally, it has a longer shelf life, which makes it ideal for soda companies who want to produce a product that can be enjoyed for months or even years. Finally, high fructose corn syrup is highly effective at masking the bitter taste of certain ingredients, like the artificial sweeteners used in diet soda. All of these factors have contributed to the popularity of high fructose corn syrup and its widespread use in the soda industry. One of the biggest arguments in favor of high fructose corn syrup is that it is not inherently bad for you. Like any food, it's the amount that you consume that matters. However, the reality is that most people consume far more high fructose corn syrup than they realize. This is because high fructose corn syrup is often hidden in processed foods and drinks, such as soda, juice, cereal, and bread. As a result, many people are ingesting hundreds of pounds of high fructose corn syrup each year without even realizing it. Another common argument in favor of high fructose corn syrup is that it is an effective way to add sweetness without adding calories. This makes it an attractive option for people who are trying to lose weight or maintain a healthy diet. However, studies have shown that consuming high fructose corn syrup can actually lead to weight gain and obesity. This is because the body metabolizes fructose differently than other sugars, and it is more likely to be stored as fat. Additionally, high fructose corn syrup has been linked to an increased risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. In light of these concerns, many countries have begun to regulate the use of high fructose corn syrup in food and beverages. For example, in Mexico, high fructose corn syrup is banned from soda and other sugary drinks. In Denmark, it is taxed at a higher rate than other sweeteners. In the United States, there have been calls for a similar tax on sugary drinks, but so far nothing has been done. The truth is that high fructose corn syrup is a dangerous ingredient that should be avoided whenever possible. While it may be cheap and effective at adding sweetness to foods and beverages, the health risks simply are not worth it. That concludes today's episode of Fake News. We hope you learned something new and that you'll share this video with your friends and family. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.